Okay, this is chapter 2 of Watership Down. The Chief Rabbit. The darksome statesman hung with weights and woe, like a thick midnight fog, moved there so slow, he did not stay nor go. Henry Vaughan, from The World. Okay. In the darkness and warmth of the burrow, Hazel suddenly woke, struggling and kicking with his back legs. Something was attacking him. There was no smell of ferret nor weasel. No instinct told him to run. His head cleared, and he realized that he was alone except for Fiber. It was Fiber who was clambering over him, clawing and grabbing like a rabbit trying to climb a wire fence in a panic. Fiber! Fiber, wake up, you silly fellow! It's Hazel. You'll hurt me in a moment. Wake up! He held him down. Fiber struggled and woke. Oh, Hazel, I was dreaming. It was dreadful. You were there. We were sitting on water, going down a great, deep stream, and then I realized we were on a board, like that board in the field, all white and covered with black lines. There were other rabbits there, bucks and does, but when I looked down, I saw the board was all made of bones and wire, and I screamed, and you said, swim, everybody swim. And then I was looking for you everywhere and trying to drag you out of a hole in the bank. I found you, but you said, the Chief Rabbit must go alone. And you floated away down a dark tunnel of water. Well, you've hurt my ribs anyways. Tunnel of water indeed. What rubbish. Can we go back to sleep now? Hazel, the danger, the bad thing, it hasn't gone away. It's here, all around us. Don't tell me to forget about it and go to sleep. We gotta get away. We gotta go before it's too late. Go away? From here? You mean from the Warren? Yes, very soon. It doesn't matter where. Just you and I. No, everyone. The whole Warren? Don't be silly. They won't come. Let's say you're out of your wits. They'll be here when the bad thing comes. You must listen to me, Hazel. Believe me. Something very bad is close upon us, and we ought to go away. Well, I suppose we'd better go and see the Chief Rabbit, and you can tell him about it. Or I'll try to, but I don't expect he'll like the idea at all. Hazel led the way down the slope of the run and up toward the bramble curtain. He did not want to believe Fiber, and he was afraid not to. It was a little after frith, or noon. The whole Warren were underground, mostly asleep. Hazel and Fiber went a short way above ground and then into a wide open hole in a sand patch, and so down by various runs until they were 30 feet into the wood, among the roots of an old oak. Here they were stopped by a large, heavily built rabbit, one of the Ausla. He had a curious, heavy growth of fur on the crown of his head, which gave him an odd appearance, as though he were wearing a kind of a cap. This had given him his name, Thalayli, 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 which means literally furhead, or as we might say, bigwig. Hazel, Bigwig, sniffing at him in the deep twilight among the tree roots. It's Hazel, isn't it? What are you doing here? And at this time of day? He ignored Fiber, who was waiting further down the run. We want to see the Chief Rabbit, said Hazel. It's important, Bigwig. Can you help us? We, said Bigwig. Is he going to see him too? Yes, he must. Do trust me, Bigwig. I don't usually come and talk like this, do I? When do I ever come to see the Chief and ask to see the Chief Rabbit? Well, I'll do it for you, Hazel, although I'll probably get my head bitten off. I'll tell him I know you're a sensible fella. He ought to know. He knows you, of course, but he's getting old. Wait here, will you? Bigwig went a little way down the run and stopped at the entrance to a large burrow. After speaking a few words that Hazel could not catch, he was evidently called inside. The two rabbits waited in silence, broken only by the continual nervous fidgeting of Fiber. The Chief Rabbit's name and style was Thrira, meaning Lord Rowan Tree. For some reason, he was always referred to as the Thrira. Perhaps because there happened to be only one Threr, or Rowan, near the Warren, as a type of tree, from which he took his name. He had won his position not only by strength in his prime, but also by level-headedness and a certain self-contained detachment, quite unlike the impulsive behavior of most rabbits. It was well known that he never let himself become excited by rumor or danger. He had coolly, some even said coldly, stood firm during the terrible onslaught of the myxomatosis, ruthlessly driving out every rabbit who seemed to be sickening. He had resisted all ideas of mass immigration and enforced complete isolation on the warren, thereby almost certainly saving it from extinction. It was he, too, who had once dealt with a particularly troublesome stoat by leading it down among the pheasant coops, and so, at the risk of his own life, onto a keeper's gun. He was now, as Bigwood said, getting old, but his wits were still clear enough. When Hazel and Fiver were brought in, he greeted them politely. Owsla, like Toadflax, might threaten and bully. The Threra had no need to. "Ah, Walnut. Is it Walnut? It is, isn't it?" "Hazel," said Hazel. "Hazel, of course. How very nice to see you. How very nice of you to come see me. I knew your mother well. And your friend?" "My brother." "Your brother," said the Threra, with the faintest suggestion of, "Don't correct me anymore, will you?" in his voice. "Do make yourselves comfortable. Have some lettuce?" The chief rabbit's lettuce was stolen by the Owsla from a garden half a mile away across the fields. Outskirters seldom or never saw lettuce. Hazel took a small leaf and nibbled politely. Fiver refused and sat blinking and twitching miserably. "Now, how are things with you?" said the chief rabbit. "Do tell me, how can I help you?" "Well, sir," said Hazel, rather hesitantly, "it's because of my brother, Fiver here. He can often tell when there's anything bad about, and I've found him right again and again. He knew the flood was coming last autumn, and sometimes he can tell where a wire's been set, and now he says he can sense a bad danger coming upon the warren." "A bad danger? Yes, I see. Very upsetting," said the chief rabbit, looking anything but upset. "Now, what sort of danger, I wonder?" He looked at Fiver. "I don't know," said Fiver, but it's bad. It's so bad that it's very bad," he concluded miserably. The Threra waited politely for a few moments, and then he said, "Well now, and what ought we to do about it, I wonder?" "Go away," said Fiver instantly. "Go away, all of us, now, Threra. Sir, we must all go away." The Threra waited again. Then, in an extremely understanding voice, he said,